Heyo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. I'm the host of the CHGO White Sox pregame show, and we have a full boat today. But Herb is out of the state and Vinny is out of the state. So we got new friends to introduce you to. We'll start on the far left. Sam Sherman of SB Nation's Southside Sox is joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at Northside Sox Pod.
Exactly.
Yeah,
all
right. There's a lot of underscores.
That was good.
In these things. So at Northside Sox Pod, and then in the man in the middle, not Herb Lawrence, it's Alexroods. You can follow him on Twitter at ARood8.
Keep it nice and simple.
Yeah, very nice and simple. Not a lot of. Are there a lot of Alexroods out there?
There's just one who took like the handle Alexroods, so I was just like, I'm pretty annoyed.
Sam Sherman, is that common?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people call me Sam Shepard though.
Even because that's a character,
the late
right?
actor, I think.
Ah.
Yeah.
What was he in? Anyone know?
I don't know, but I know a lot of people older than me don't get Sherman. They just say Shepard, and even if they know it's.
So people older, Vinny and Herb.
Vinny and Herb might make sense. Yeah.
So we just need them to get all the Sam Shepard. They'd probably be able to go like 5 deep on Sam Shepard quotes, but here we are,
Top 5.
Millennials and Gen Zs not knowing Sam Shepard. But excited to have Sam Sherman here and Alexroods. Sean Anderson's fairly common. There's a decent amount of Sean Andersons, no matter which way you spell it, which is pretty disappointing to me. But also, you get audio clips of the Twins pitcher and I think former Giants pitcher and Blue Jays pitcher, Sean, who spells it wrong, Shaun Anderson. But hey, I still get Jason Benetti saying my name a couple times. But excited to talk to Alex and Sam. Let's get into you guys being Sox fans. Are you guys lifelong Sox fans? We'll start with Alex.
Yeah. I was just unfortunately born into it, so I've been stuck here.
Well, that's something Sam and I were talking about. You've kind of struggled that you're a lifelong Sox fan too. That's had your ups and downs with this team.
Yeah, like Alex said, unfortunately born into it. Same boat here.
How are we feeling right now as Sox fans? Are we feeling optimistic that they can still make the playoffs? Alex has sent me a lot of stuff being like, no, there's still ways in. But I know, Sam, it's been ups, it's been downs.
Yeah.
Right now, what's the outlook on this team? Is there still some hope, or is it just kind of show me at this point?
It depends on what hope is. I mean, to make the playoffs, yeah, of course. I think yesterday was Dan Zaborski's article was like a 54% chance, something like that. They could absolutely make the playoffs. My thing at this point is, and for what? We saw what happened last year in a series that I think if they played 100 times, they would have lost 100 times to the Astros in that first round of the playoffs. I think that I don't know if there's anything to say that it would be different this time around. So make the playoffs? Sure. I think that's certainly possible. But there's just not enough that I've seen this year to make me think that they'd have a very extended run when getting there.
Yeah. Well, they only need to turn it on for September, October for me to be more confident about that. But going back to the playoffs, yeah, they definitely can. The Twins have had time and time again, chance to blow this open, blow the lead open, and they haven't. We're sitting here 5 games back before a 4-game series, and theoretically everything goes right this weekend. You head into the All-Star break 1 game back.
Well, and they're 1-5 against the Twins too.
But
so the Twins have been able to, wake up for the Sox.
Right.
The Twins really haven't beaten the Sox. The Sox have beaten themselves. The series, there was the 2 blowouts, but then you had the first game in Minnesota where there was a double error by Anderson and Abreu to blow a lead. Then Liam not coming out when he was hurt. Last week, the 8-5 triple play. So it's other than those 2 games, the Twins haven't consistently shown that they're the better team. The Sox have just been shooting themselves in the foot.
It's just been kind of a summation of what's been going wrong for the White Sox this entire year. You got right-handers like Josh Winder coming up and having great games, and now they have a real pitcher like Sonny Gray on the mound.
And then they turn around and beat up Verlander and Robbie Ray.
Right. So, I mean, and that's something that Liam kind of talked about earlier, this team kind of stepping up and needing to put the pedal on the metal. And, they've talked about playing to the back of the baseball card, but it feels like there might not be a full urgency or a sense of this team's fully clicking yet, or maybe maybe they're just not showing up for every game. Maybe a guy like Sonny Gray, who has an ERA of 3, this gets them up because, like you said, they were able to beat Verlander.
Also, with Sonny Gray, if you look at the opponents he's faced, it's been mainly bad teams, 4 games versus of his 12 starts are teams over 500, and those 4 games were the Orioles and Mariners, who have just been streaking, been on incredible heaters lately, so they probably would have been, 3 of those 4 would have been in the under 500 category, and the other one was the Red Sox when they were crappy at the beginning of the year when the Sox, like right after the Sox swept them in Fenway. So like Sonny Gray really hasn't shown yet against any good teams, so it's not like they're going against Verlander again or anything like that.
My worry, though, is this White Sox team, like you see Josh Winder or Brady Singer have the success against this team. And, you know, he had an outing against Detroit where he went 7 innings, no earned runs, and struck out 10. Yeah. Didn't walk anybody. Like, right. I feel like he could have that type of game just because the Sox, that's been the most maddening thing. I don't know what's been the most maddening thing for you, Sam, but the most maddening thing is this team's inability to walk. Like, it showed that they had the ability to do that in 2021, and this year it's just completely fallen off. They're the worst team in the league at walking and walk rate.
Right, and to that point, I mean, I know that, you know, generally speaking, in-season adjustments is easy for us to say. It's not as easy, you know, when you're on the team, when you're in the big leagues, but to that point on walking and taking more pitches, it's just something that you'd think that it was a problem at the beginning of the year. It was a problem, you know, a month ago, and it's still a problem. So throughout this entire time, I think it's that lack of urgency, and it's seemingly the lack of any kind of adjustments that's been concerning.
But going back to the walking thing, I think everyone keeps on harping like back on last year, but I think the conversation point kind of needs to shift. Was that year an outlier? Because Steve and I were looking at the Menachino's teams when he's been their hitting coach. I think last year was either the first or second time in his career that his teams have been outside the bottom 10 in walk rate. So it kind of like there's a common denominator right there when it comes to walking.
Well, and you kind of get the outlier seasons like 2020. Clearly, they aren't that good of a home run hitting team. Third in the MLB that year. And then where they were walk rate, that was another outlier. But like, I don't know what's the outlier this year. I mean, just that they're so bad and that they'll turn it around. Like, is that maybe that's what I could talk myself into at this point? Maybe it's not excuses.
It's
but
the guys in their lineups that were consistently walking aren't doing it anymore. It's like the Yaz and Moncadas. Usually they're relying on them to walk. And if they're not walking at their career rates, team's kind of screwed.
Even Vaughn. I mean, Vaughn's down this year from last year, too, so that was something that he was doing well this year. The only guy that's walking, Jose Abreu. Feels like mostly that's the guy that's doing it. He's really found it this year in his career. Let's look at the starting Sox here and see who the Sox are throwing out here 1 through 9. Leading off, it's Tim Anderson playing shortstop. Batting second, it's Yohan Moncada at third base. Batting third, it's Luis Robert in center field. Batting fourth, it's Jose Abreu at first base. Batting fifth, Gavin Sheets in right field. Batting sixth, Andrew Vaughn at the designated hitter spot. At seventh, A.J. Pollock in left field. Batting eighth, your guy, Josh Harrison, at second base. At batting 9, Seby Zavala at catcher. I'll go to you, Sam, just because we haven't talked much about these guys just yet. Who's been the most surprising Sox in that starting lineup to you so far? Is there anyone who's been so bad that it's been shocking to you? Is there anyone that's so good that's been surprising to you? Who's been the most surprising Sox out of those 9?
I guess that's a good question as far as the most surprising. I will say pleasantly surprised because we can throw plenty of negative surprises in there. But I've been really impressed with Josh Harrison, and I know that's kind of come up a lot recently in kind of how he's really turned his season from being a guy that I think you could make a valid argument to basically just get rid of him, even on a roster that the alternative is Leary Garcia getting every day at bats. But I've just been really pleasantly surprised with what he's brought. Of course, the offensive turnaround is nice, but defensively, I know he made an error last night, but he's been playing some great defense in the second, and I think really solidified some of those issues on the infield there too.
And I think Joe read my mind there because I was going to go with Seby Zavala because like last year, he just hit the occasional home run, that was it. But now he's just getting on base consistently getting hits, not being relying on the home run. Can he keep it up? Who knows? But it's definitely been a great surprise, and so we don't have to have Reese McGuire in the lineup every day.
Yeah, and I think Stoney made a good point too. He mentioned when the offense is clicking, the defense starts to click, and that was the one thing we heard about Zavala last year when he was coming up was that he would have been a defensive upgrade over Collins, and we just didn't see that at all. No. I mean, he looked so lost at the plate. He looked so lost defensively, and this year he just feels or looks at least so much more confident in himself and his abilities.
Speaking of Seby, when Yaz gets back, do you keep him on the roster? Or?
That's something that I think saying what I'm wanting to say would get me like absolutely roasted here, but
Say it, Sam. It's a safe place.
I know. Yasmani's coming back, and this isn't about getting rid of Yasmani or anything like that, but it's going to be tough to keep Seby's bat out of the lineup. I can't believe we're saying that in 2022 this season, and circumstances have led to that even being something, even a possible thought.
Yeah.
But that will be interesting. I don't.
Does Reese have any options left?
I don't think so. I think that's
think
the deal is that even Zavala is out of options. So
right.
Mm-hmm. He was DFA'd this spring training and nobody claimed him.
Zavala was?
Mm-hmm.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, they just buried it in one of the press releases that he was outrighted to Charlotte.
All right, well, there you go. And no one wanted him. So, but now I feel like, if he was outrighted, people would at least take a shot at him just with the way he's been hitting. So it's an interesting discussion. McGuire does give them the ability to balance out left-handed, but if Grandal's up here, we know he's a switch hitter. He has the ability to hit from the left side. So I just think whoever's hottest at the moment, and right now Seby has continued to prove himself to be the better hitter than McGuire. And I think defensively, they're probably even when it comes to framing runs, and it just feels like Seby's made more big plays at the plate this year than McGuire. I think McGuire's probably better at throwing guys out, but outside of that, I mean, Seby's had some nice picks of some relays, so that's interesting to see. Is that the hottest you wanted to go? You weren't going Trey Grandal or anything like that? He's coming back after the All-Star break. He'll be healthy.
I just think, though, that real quick to wrap that, it's like people are forgetting that. Maybe they're not forgetting. It's not like he was tearing the leather off the ball, before the injury. So I don't know if I don't think it's going to be any kind of a major boost offensively, but he's the big money guy.
He has looked a lot better watching his rehab starts in Charlotte and Birmingham. I kind of hate to say it, but it's the first time he actually looks healthy this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that could be like a big difference maker in the lineup. And even before he got hurt, that was like the first couple games he's strung together where he was getting multiple hits and getting on base consistently. So that's why the timing was just awful, but I guess we'll see. Kind of glad it's not my call there.
Well, and I think you were laughing at Baloney's comment there, talking about Park Reese at Dollar General and DFA himself. So I just saw Alex trying to hold back his laughter. I was wondering what it was about. So good job, Baloney. You got Alex to crack. Could they go with 3 catchers? I just don't think they would, looking at the lineup construction that probably means DFAing Leury Garcia, which would be the darkest day in Tony's life.
3. Then if that's what it means, then 3 catchers it is.
You can't just DFA your longest-serving White Sox like that,
right? Yeah, especially in the
White
midst
Sox playoff legend.
Yes, it's the window. I mean, you can't get rid of the legend in the window. Both very sacred players and sacred windows.
All right, let's wait for that Game 3 home run statue to go up.
Yes, it's going to be very golden. Let's look at the Twins starting 9 today. Leading off for the Twins, it's going to be Byron, I guessed. It was Luis Arraez at first base, batting second. Carlos Correa at shortstop, batting third. Byron Buxton in center field. Batting fourth, Max Kepler out in right field. Batting fifth, Jorge Polanco at second base. Batting sixth, Alex Kirilloff in left field. Batting seventh, Jose Miranda at DH. Batting eighth, Gio Urshela at third base. And batting 9, Ryan Jeffers is the catcher. Sam, what name sticks out to you in that lineup? Obviously Buxton, so maybe I should ask this question. Herb Lawrence is always very adamant if Buxton is up and there is a base open, or Jose Ramirez, if he's up and there's a base open, you walk that guy. Where are you guys on that stance of intentionally walking a guy like Buxton or Ramirez?
I mean, again, it's all circumstantial, but we've seen plenty of circumstances where that was just almost objectively as close to objective as you can get in baseball decision making, where that should have been the right thing. But in that lineup, the guy I always forget about, but that scares the hell out of me, is Luis Arraez right at the top, because I don't think the White Sox, we might have to get a fact check here, but I don't think they've ever actually retired him in a game. I think it's like it'll be like a 25 pitch at bat foul that'll be like a double down the line or a walk. They just can't get him out.
Even before his breakout year.
Right. Yeah. It didn't take him breaking out. That was just him. Yeah, he was a White Sox killer before he killed the entire league with his long at bats.
Let's see. Arraez career versus the Sox. He's batting .337, .371, .387. It's only an OPS of .758, but he's getting on base 37.1% of the time. So that's probably why they're batting him leadoff. Sox would probably love to have a guy that's got a .370 OPS for them. So, hey, Alex, I know that the Twins are a team that doesn't really scare you, but they have a competent lineup, right?
Yeah, the name that sticks out to me, especially after last week, is Jorge Polanco. He was just killing the ball. Like, I was sitting in 108 last Wednesday with Luke and Kier. Literally, he hits that home run, just zoom. It was like 112, like landing right next to us. Like he was crushing the ball, and he was like single-handedly like beating the Sox over that series. So I'd like them for them to like game plan around that. So just don't let them beat you for another series.
Well, and Alex Kirilloff, too. I mean, he came into that series, the last series that they had, with 1 home run. He left with 3. He hit 2 in one game. So definitely a guy that you got to watch out for, Polanco as well. And Cueto, we saw him in the first time up against the Twins, had good success until the 6th inning, which he gave up a 2-run home run to Byron Buxton. Just got to tip the cap at that point.
Still a great start, yeah.
Right.
And then they came back, and the triple play happened.
Oh, right.
And they weren't able to capitalize in extra innings. That's just the way it goes with the Sox. And since we're talking about our Cowboy, let's talk about Johnny Cueto and what his yearly stats have been. Looking at him, he's thrown 68 innings this year, 2.91 ERA for Cueto, 60 hits allowed, 53 strikeouts and 18 walks surrendered, and an ERA plus of 136. Sonny Gray, 59.1 innings, 3.01 ERA, 47 hits allowed, 54 Ks, and 16 walks surrendered, and an ERA plus of 125. Before we go into Gray, Sam, we were talking kind of about Johnny Cueto, 3rd starter for the White Sox in the playoffs, and how surprising he's been this year. If you want to talk about the surprise or what you were expecting from Cueto and what he's been, really a tremendous story.
Yeah, it has been. I wrote a column going back, basically, it was like a week or 2 before Cueto was going to basically make his debut for the White Sox, and I sort of jokingly said he's going to be the savior of the season. I was calling it. I was staking that, into the ground. But I also had a strange feeling that, veteran guy, while many players that come to the White Sox at this point of their careers, if not almost all of them, falter, I just had a strange feeling that he might be okay. And he's been really tremendous, factoring in not just the value, but also just what he's brought to the table and just basically being that veteran presence each time out. So that sort of a joke column ended up, I can't say he's the savior, but the rotation has been just stronger with him in it. So we were joking about, of course, the playoffs, but if they do end up sneaking their way into the playoffs and he is that, 3rd starter, the numbers show that that's not the worst thing.
And it's not like he's been bum slaying either. He shut down the Astros.
Exactly.
He had a good start against the Dodgers. Like those are, and
Had a
the
good
Yankees
start against the
too
Twins.
as well.
Yeah.
Like that. Those 3 are objectively like the 3 best lineups in baseball, and he put up great starts against them.
And 2, saved you from having Vince Velasquez as your 5th starter. So savior in some
Or
way.
keeping
Opening
Dallas
day
Keuchel.
starter,
Yes, or
Vince Velasquez, right? I think.
Yeah.
Home opener, yes, that was great.
Legend. And I'll always
him.
remember that. And the best way to support CHGO, what we do here, we have these live streams. We have a pregame show. We have a postgame show. That will be live after the final out is made in the Twins and White Sox game. But the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. If that's not it, if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from a CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from a CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. PointsBet's your home for live in-play betting, and it's just got even better. If you see an edge in the game you're watching, if your favorite team is primed for a comeback, don't just watch the game. Bet along with it live. There's more live betting, more live markets, and faster live cash outs with the PointsBet app. So what are you waiting for? It's time to elevate your live betting game. Download the PointsBet app right now and use promo code CHGO. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life at PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. And I do this before we talk about Sonny Gray because I'm going with Sonny Gray over 4.5 Ks today on the PointsBet app. That's at -120. I think he's going to have a good game. He had one really great start against the Sox last year, had one really bad start against the Sox last year at the end of the year. What are we making of this matchup, and what are we making? Because he is a right-hander, so we know the White Sox struggles with right-handers. Alex, we'll start with you.
I think both could end up having decent starts. I think tonight's game ends up coming down to the bullpen because I could see it being like both Cueto and Gray going like 6 or 7 innings, giving up 2 runs. In previous games in the series, the Sox, in their season series, the Sox bullpen has faltered. Can they keep up the great work that they had in Cleveland, carry that over, and deliver a win? We'll see.
I think that I'm a vibes guy, okay? And I want to say that I think that I think it's going to be a disappointing night for the White Sox simply based on the fact that maybe it's been anywhere from a dozen to more than that times this year. How many times have we gone into a crucial series? The Sox got into a crucial series that it's only as crucial as the next one, right? And then they've where maybe they've had a little bit of momentum only to kind of fall on their faces. This is the next one. I feel like there's just been these before. They salvaged that series against the Guardians, and now simply based on the fact that they haven't carried that momentum into basically back-to-back series. That's kind of the main reason, but I don't think it'll be on Cueto. I do see a strong start from him.
Speaking of vibes, I would disagree because I think the vibes are going to be great tonight. It's Giolito's birthday. They're all celebrating him.
It's Steve Stone's birthday.
And Gabe's birthday as well.
It's really...
It's a big birthday day.
Yeah, great birthday day.
But I see what Sam's point is because they sweep the Giants and then they lose the first two against Minnesota, salvage the series and don't get swept. They lose the first two against Detroit, salvage the series and split it. And then they lose the first two against Cleveland and then salvage the series and split it. I could see them losing the first two games and then winning the last two.
Right, and I mean, it'd be nice. Is it a crucial series? Yeah, I mean, right now they're not a playoff team, right? If the season ended today, if they swept this series, I still don't think that they're a playoff team, but it gets them in a much better shape starting after the All-Star break. So,
we'll see. And Sonny Gray was the interest of the White Sox. Let's go to this Jeff Passan tweet. This was from 2020, but I know they even had interest last year as well. White Sox have been looking for a starting pitcher, and they are arguably the best on the trade market. They have also been discussing a Sonny Gray deal with the Reds, but pivoted towards Lance Lynn and finished it with Rangers for Dane Dunning and a prospect. So they could have gotten Sonny Gray. They ended up going with Lance Lynn. I would have liked Sonny Gray. I don't know. Lance Lynn was good last year, but this year's been all right.
I mean, I love the Lance Lynn deal just for the cost. Like, I don't even want to know what the Reds were asking for Sonny Gray. If the Sox just immediately pivoted to Lance Lynn once they heard it only would cost Dane Dunning and a relief prospect.
Well, it was Steele Walker, right?
Steel Walker was the Mazzara trade.
The legend. That's my bad. So it's interesting to see what could have been if we could have seen, Johnny Cueto, who signs
Andrew
with the
Vaughn starting Reds outfielder.
Oh God, no! If that was the price, I don't want to see that. We'll end this discussion if that was the price for Sonny Gray. Let's go to our clicks to pick and get our predictions for the game and see who the player of the game's going to be. We'll start off with our guy Sam, and then we'll work our way down. So give us a score and give us your click to pick.
I do think that the Twins are going to win this one 4-3. Like Alex said, I think it'll come down to the bullpens. But I do see Gavin Sheets as my pick tonight. I think he's going to hit a home run, because he's left-handed.
There you go.
And so,
killer, 2 for 2 career against Sonny Gray with a homer too. So he's got a good resume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm thinking the same score, but it'll be 4-3 White Sox, and I'm going with Moncada for my pick to click. He's been killing the ball lately. Some of those outs will eventually turn to hits. I think tonight's one of those nights.
Well, and since you're here, I'll go Josh Harrison. Just in respect of all the shit I talked, I'll back it up, and we'll go Josh Harrison, who could have had a triple, according to our producer Steven Nicholas yesterday.
Should have had a triple.
I was in that boat too. I will agree there.
There you go.
I got somebody on my side.
At least
I don't know if it come every show now. This is great.
I'm not saying
on Steven's team.
Miles Straw has a cannon. He would have been out by like half.
I'm not saying it would have been definitely a triple, but at least give yourself a chance. That's all.
What I said is
with Joe McEwing in this team, I'm not gonna ever criticize them for not trying to push it.
I said it's a triple until the defense shows them it's a double.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The guy's bobbling the ball.
He's high stepping it like right after he rounds first. If you're just running out of the box all the way through, you might have a triple there.
I agree.
Got to get the high step in though.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'd be doing that, I think.
I'm going to go White Sox to win 6-3, and I'll go Josh Harrison. I said White Sox to win 6-3. Fuck that. Twins to win 6-3. I don't know where I am. What show am I on? My bad. 6-3. Twins are winning.
Clip that.
It's a right-hander on the bump. It's a right-hander on the bump, and I think Sonny Gray is going to have a nice night for himself. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate Sam and Alex for joining us on the pregame show. They'll be with us on the postgame show. Again, after the final out is made, we'll be live here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you ring those notifications so you know when we go live after the White Sox game. Could they win? Alex thinks so. Could they lose? Sam and I think so. Find out what happens after the game and join us for the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Again, you can follow Sam on Twitter at Northside Sox Pod. You can follow Alex on Twitter at ARude8. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for your production, and we will talk to you after the game. Go Sox.